Hello everyone and welcome for the next chapter in English. Today we will be doing On Wings of Courage. We'll start with the lesson. Air Force Marshal Arjan Singh, an icon of India's military history, will always be remembered as a war hero who had successfully led a young Indian Air Force during the 1965 Indo-Pak War. The only officer to attain the highest post of Marshal, the Air Force equivalent to the Army's five-star Field Marshal. Singh was a fearless and exceptional pilot who had flown more than 60 different types of aircrafts. So you see, in the first part of the lesson itself, Arjan Singh has been introduced to us as a war hero and an icon of the India's military history. Now these are two big things to be said about someone. So you can imagine that Arjan Singh's contribution to India has been something which cannot be put into words. Also, in the first part itself, he's talking about the the immense contribution by him, where he was the leader in the Indian Pakistan war, which was held in 1965. Okay. Apart from that, another big thing is he's the only person from the Indian Air Force to achieve the five stars, or which is equivalent to the Field Marshal in the Army. So if you see here, in the Army there have been two Field Marshals before, but in the Air Force there is only one Air Force Marshal. And this is, I'm talking about the history of our defense system. Another important thing is it talks about Mr. Singh, who's been a fearless and exceptional pilot, and by now he has flown over 60 different types of aircrafts. So the introduction itself says a lot about this person. Okay, this is some general knowledge which is not there in your books. So just for your information, this is the ranks in the Indian Army. So from left to right. In the Indian Air Force, again from left, which is the flying officer, all the way to the Marshal of the Air Force. And the Indian Navy as well. You have the sub-lieutenant all the way till the Admiral of the Fleet. Now, what has been explained earlier in this video is Arjan Singh was the only person to be able to achieve this rank, the Marshal of the Air Force. So he's the only one in the history of the Indian Air Force to achieve this particular rank. He played a major role in transforming the Indian Air Force into one of the most potent air forces globally and the fourth biggest in the world. His contribution to the Air Force is monumental, to the least. The Indian Air Force grew with him. He was the epitome of military leadership in classical sense, and it is therefore not surprising that he was honored with the rank of Air Force Marshal. This was said about him by former Vice Chief of the Indian Air Force, Kapil Kark. Now, if you see here, he very specifically says that um, Mr. Singh played a major role in the expansion and the strengthening of the Air Force. Now, why we talk about expansion and strengthening is because remember, at this point of time, the Air Force was being built. Okay, because we were under British rule and we had recently come out of British rule, and we had been through a couple of wars by now. And because of that, we were still young. The Indian Air Force was very young, they were growing. And as he rightly says, that the Air Force was growing along with Arjan Singh. He was the one who was responsible for the growth that the Indian Air Force had in this short span. Okay, and obviously his leadership skills were unmatched. There was nobody else like him in his leadership role. So it was not surprised that the Indian Air Force had given him, or the government had given him the rank of Air Force Marshal. Okay, now as you would see in the lines before, we said that the India is at currently at number 4 in global fire ranking. So the Indian Air Force is the overall firepower of India is at number 4. Above us is only the United States at number 1, Russia at number 2, China at number 3, and then India at number 4. Again, this is not part of your lesson, it's just part of the general knowledge. So apart from Arjan Singh, there have been other two marshals as well. So that's what we're going to see here. Singh was honored with the rank of marshal on the Republic Day in 2002. Sam Manekshaw and K.M. Kariappa were the only two army generals honored with the rank of Field Marshal. So you see us, there's some photos down. So Arjan Singh is the only marshal in the Indian Air Force. Okay, and you see we had seen earlier the rank, so you can see his shoulder. His rank shows up there. And when you talked about the 5 stars, the 5 stars come up on the collar. Okay, now apart from him, Sam Manekshaw, there's a movie being made on him as well. And the second was K.M. Kariappa. These were the other two marshals, but both of them are from the army, not from the Air Force. Here we will see a little about the personality of Mr. Singh. Known as a man of few words, Singh was not only a fearless pilot but also had profound knowledge of air power and applied it in a wide spectrum of areas. Singh had assiduously led the Indian Air Force during the 1965 war and denied success to Pakistan Air Force, though it was better equipped with American support. His most outstanding contribution was during the war, said Kirk. So you see here, Mr. Singh never used to speak a lot, but his knowledge of the air power made him a very good and a very successful leader who led his troops with great care and perseverance. And he had very good attention to detail. So when you see this word here, acid, assiduously, we are talking about the fact that he took great care and perseverance and attended to attention to detail. That is the meaning of this particular word. Okay, now This helped him in denying success to Pakistan Air Force in 1965, which basically means that we won the war in 1965 against Pakistan. According to Mr. Kak, this was his best contribution during that particular war. That means Mr. Singh had already made a number of other significant contributions as well in other wars. But in this war, his leadership stood out, which was exceptional. Commending his role in the war, Y.B. Chauhan, the then defense minister, had written, Air Marshal Arjan Singh is a jewel of a person, quite efficient and firm, unexcitable, but a very able leader. So, as you see, that even the defense minister at that time, Mr. Y.B. Chauhan, said about Mr. Singh that he's a wonderful, wonderful person and a very good attaining or getting jobs done, which meant that whatever task or whatever work had to be done, Arjan Singh was very good at getting that completed. He was also a person who did not show a lot of emotion. Now, being a leader, this helps a lot because if you are a leader, you have to keep your emotions aside in order to make decisions. You cannot let emotions come in the way of making decisions because there's a very high chance that you would make a wrong decision based on your emotions. In 1944, the Marshal had led a squadron against the Japanese during the Arakan campaign, flying close air support missions during the crucial Imphal campaign, and later assisted the advance of the Allied forces to Yangon, which was formerly known as Rangoon. So you see here that he's talking about the main assignments that Mr. Singh had taken part in. He has mentioned three over here. The first one is that he led a squadron against the Japanese during the Arakan campaign. Now, a squadron is a group of planes which could be two or more. So he was the leader of a squadron, and he led um, this particular squadron during against the Japanese during the Arakan campaign. Apart from this, he also flew air support missions during the Impal campaign. So, when we had the Japanese invading in from Impal, again at that point of time, he done a lot of air support. And apart from that, even when we had gone ahead and we were fighting war in Rangoon, at that time also he helped the Allied forces. Now, the Allied forces at that point of time were the British. So, we at that time were able to assist the ground Allied forces to advance in Rangoon. Now, this is just a map for you to understand that at that particular time, Japan was doing a pretty good job in capturing and having fighting wars. This particular line, if you see here, this shows the area that Japan had progressed. Okay, now this is the Indian map. Now, if you would know, at that point of time, Pakistan and Bangladesh both were part of India itself. So this all the three countries together was just one country. Now this is Burma. Burma is where we share borders. India shares a border with us. Okay, with Burma. Now what happened is when the Japanese forces were trying to get in, this was their stronghold. They had a very good hold over here. Okay, so as we seen here, Mr. Singh had led a squadron near Burma. So this is where he was fighting at that point of time. Okay, he also did air support missions in Impal, which is the capital of Manipur. So in Manipur is where this attack was happening, and they had reached all the way till Impal. So from Impal, they were doing air support for the ground forces. And later on, Rangoon was the capital of Burma. So this country of Burma, Rangoon was the capital. Okay, we now call this as Myanmar. Till 2006, this was called Burma. Now, when Mr. Singh, he had done a lot of advanced mission. When the ground forces were advancing, the British forces, along with the Indian force, was advancing on Burma. That's the time Mr. Singh had done a lot of support missions as well. Okay, again, this is not part of your chapter as such, but this is good information for you to know. In recognition of his feat, he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross on the spot by the Supreme Allied Commander of Southeast Asia, the first Indian pilot to have received it. Singh was selected for the Empire Pilot Training Course at the Royal Air Force, which is at Cranwell in 1938 when he was 19 years old. He retired from service in 1969. So if you see here, Mr. Singh was the first Indian to get the DFC or the Distinguished Flying Cross. And he was only 19 years at that time. After that, he was selected and sent to Cranwell. Okay, and that is where he had some trainings done for him as well. And finally, after a very long career in the Indian Air Force, he retired in the year 1969. Okay, just for again, this is part of a general knowledge. This is just to show you what the Distinguished Flying Cross looks like. Okay, this is about his birth and education. Singh was born on April 15, 1919 in Lalpur, which now we know as Faisalabad, which is in Pakistan, and completed his education at Montgomery, which is now Sahiwal in Pakistan. His first assignment on being commissioned was to fly West Land Wapiti biplanes in the northwest frontier as a member of the number one RIAF squadron. Okay, RIAF stands for Royal Indian Air Force Squadron. Okay, why it is Royal Indian Air Force? Because at that point of time, as you see, we were still ruled by British. So at that point of time, it was a collaborated Air Force. That's why it was called the Royal Indian Air Force, RIAF. So there was a squadron called Number One, RIAF, and he was part of that particular mission. So his first assignment is when he had to fly Westland VPT biplanes. Okay, now this is what a Westland VPT biplane looks like. So the Indian Air Force's first Warrior. That was the first planes that we had, which were called the Westland VPTs. Okay, basically biplane is because you see that they had two wings. This is one wing here and the other one is lower than that. That's why they were called biplanes. Westland VPT. Coming to his promotions. After a brief stint with the newly formed number 2 RIAF squadron, where the Marshal flew against the tribal forces. He later moved back to squadron number 1 as a flying officer to fly the Hawker Hurricane. He was promoted to the rank of squadron leader in 1944. So you see here, he started now getting his promotions. So okay, this is a very short time. He was there with the number 2 squadron. Okay, earlier than this, you saw that he was with number 1 squadron. Then for a short time, he went to the number 2 squadron, and he flew some missions against the tribal forces. Now, when we talk about tribal forces, and that also we are talking about the western side of the country, northwestern side of the country, is we are talking about Afghanistan. Okay, so he got his first promotion, and he was back at squadron number 1 as a flying officer. And he also flew the Hawker Hurricane plane. And later he was promoted to squadron leader in the year 1944. Okay, now this is again the Hawker Hurricane. So these are the planes he was flying at that point of time. Okay, for his role in successfully leading the squadron in combat, he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross in 1944. On August 15, 1947, he achieved the unique honor of leading a flypast of over 100 Indian Air Force aircrafts over the Red Fort in Delhi. Okay, so since he had led the squadron to victory, he was given the Distinguished Flying Cross for his leadership at that point of time in 1944. Now, Independence Day, 1947. That's August 15, 1947. He had the unique honor. Why is it unique? Because this was India's first independence. We had just received independence, and he had the honor of leading over 100 planes over the Red Fort in Delhi. Now, what is a fly past? Is when the planes fly overhead in formations. So we have seen this on Republic Day parades and all that we have in India. It looks something like this. The only difference is he had over 100 planes that he was leading at that point of time. After his promotion to the rank of Wing Commander, he attended the Royal Staff College in the UK. Immediately after India's independence, he commanded Ambala in the rank of Group Captain. In 1949, he was promoted to the rank of Air Commodore and took over as Air Officer Commodore or Air Officer Commanding of an operational command, which later came to be known as the Western Air Command. So you see here, just after independence, he had again gone to the Royal Staff College in the UK to get trained. Okay, and that time he was at the rank of Wing Commander. As soon as he got back from his training, he took over Ambala. Okay, now remember at that time he had taken over Ambala at the rank of Group Captain. Okay, he was then promoted to the rank of Air Commodore, and he had taken over as the Air Officer Commander. They also call it at the AOC. Now, at that point of time, the Western Command was not what it was a different name. Later on, it came to be known as the Western Air Command. Just to give you an example, or just to give you a brief, You see these red spots here. These are different air bases that we have. Okay. Now, when we talk about uh, where the base was, so okay, so it was somewhere in the western region, somewhere here. Okay, and that is what was later known as the Western Air Command, and that is what in Ambala where he was uh, playing the next leadership role. Okay, now Mr. Singh also has the honor of being the longest AOC. Okay, we just saw here. Okay, the AOC is the Air Officer Commanding. So the Air Officer Commanding, Mr. Singh also has the honor of being the longest AOC. So Singh had the distinction of having the longest tenure as AOC of an operational base. Initially from 1949 to 1952, and then again from 1957 to 1961. After his promotion to the rank of Air Vice Marshal, he was appointed as the AOC in C of an operational command. You see here that Mr. Singh had the honor of being the longest tenure of the AOC. He had two tenures and then was again promoted of AOC and C. And these were all major Air Force bases. When we talk about operational command, we are talking about major Air Force bases because you have maintenance command also and other commands where they are not major, it's more for maintenance and repairs and things like that. So he was part of operational command. That means these were actual places which were very active and mostly on, they had to respond on if there was any war that is going to happen. These are the first places that will respond to this threat that is to the country. Okay, and these again, what an AOC in chief is. Okay, this is just to show you how it is further divided up. We have AOC in C as Central Air Command, Eastern Air Command, Southern Air Command, South Western Air Command, Western Air Command, Training Command, and Maintenance Command. So, as I told you just now, you have Maintenance Command, mostly to seeing to maintenance. You have Training Command, which means all the trainings, everybody who's becoming a pilot in the Indian Air Force has to report to the Training Command. And then you have your other major commands. These are the operational commands that are there in India. Okay, in charge of training. Towards the end of the 1962 war, he was appointed as a Deputy Chief of Air Staff and he became the Vice Chief of Air Staff in 1963. Apart from that, he was the overall commander of the Joint Air Training Exercise Siksha, held between the Indian Air Force, the Royal Air Force, and the Royal Australian Air Force. So, three different air forces or three different countries had now come together in Siksha for a training exercise. And Mr. Singh was the overall commander of that entire operation. Okay, so you will see a lot of this in the paper. The RAF, Royal Air Force, the RAAF, which is the Royal Australian Air Force. So now when you see this in papers and in the news, you know who that they are talking about. On August 1st, 1964, in the rank of Air Marshal, the Marshal of the Air Force, Arjan Singh, took over reins of the Indian Air Force. at a time when it was still rebuilding itself and was gearing up to meet new challenges. So, if you see here that he took charge, Arjan Singh took over the command of the Indian Air Force at the right time when it was just rebuilding after the defeat to China. We had just lost a war to China, and he was the air marshal and was the right person with all his experience to help rebuild the modern air force. And when we say modern air force, there was a lot of changes made. New planes came in, the way things operate, the policies, a lot of things changed when Mr. Singh took over. And he was solely responsible for all these changes. He helped the Indian Air Force grow. Mr. Singh was the first air chief to keep his flying currency till his CAS rank. Having flown over 60 different types of aircrafts from pre-World War II era biplanes to the more contemporary Gnats and Vampires. He also flew in transport aircrafts like the Super Constellation. Now you see over here there are two things which you need to focus on. Flying currency is the number of time or the time and the different kinds of planes that a pilot flies in the Indian Air Force. They call it flying currency. So over here, Air Chief, to keep his flying currency, he flew all the way till his CAS rank. Okay, so he didn't give up flying. Even when he was a high ranked officer, he did not give up flying. He kept on flying, and now this is not an easy job because keeping flying is actually you have to be very tough physically and mentally. It takes a lot out of a pilot when you are flying aircrafts. So now he not only one or two, but he has flown 60 different types. Okay, from World War, we had seen the planes earlier which he had flown. Now we have different other planes which are more contemporary. The other word that I wanted to focus on is contemporary, and contemporary means a more modern type of planes. Okay, so you'll see here the few planes that he flew. Okay, this is the first one, the GNAT. This is a more modern kind of a plane. We had seen some planes earlier. You saw that it was prior to the World War. This is a more modern version. The GNAT. This is a photo of the vampires. Now, apart from now, these two are fighting planes. Okay. Now, apart from that, he also flew transport planes. Okay. This is the Super Constellation. It's a transport plane, mostly used for cargo and also to take people from one place to another. So he was not only flying fighter planes, but he was flying other kinds of planes as well. In 1965, when Pakistan launched its Operation Grand Slam with an armored thrust targeted at the vital town of Akhnur, Singh led the Indian Air Force through the war with courage, determination, and professional skill. He inspired the Indian Air Force to victory, despite the constraints imposed on the full scale use of the Indian or the Air Force combat power. So, if you see here, after at the time when we were at war in 1965 with Pakistan, Singh was not given permission to use the full power of the Indian Air Force. Okay, the seniors of the government at that point of time had not given the permission to use his full power. However, he was still able to help win the war just using his leadership skills. Okay, Pakistan had made the town of Akhnur as the target at that point of time. Okay, now this talks a lot about something of a character of somebody's leadership skills in the war. That even being able to use more modern kinds of techniques, he was not allowed to do so. So, and as I mentioned earlier, Pakistan at that point of time was supported by the Americans. So they had more modern versions of planes, they had more modern equipment. And despite not having to be able to use all that, Arjan Singh still led the Indian Air Force and helped India win the war. Singh was awarded the Padma Vibhushan for his astute leadership of the Air Force during the war. Subsequently, in recognition of the Air Force's contribution during the war, the rank of the CAS was upgraded, and Arjan Singh became the first Air Chief Marshal of the Indian Air Force. Okay, so for his uh, astute leadership, so when you say astute leadership, it means sharp and intelligent. Because he had so many years of experience, he was able to use all that experience and his knowledge of air power to be able to lead the Indian Air Force. Okay, and for that he received the Padma Vibhushan Award. And later on, he was also, because of the success, he was also became the first Air Chief Marshal of the Indian Air Force. Okay, now these are some awards which are given by the government: Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan, and the Padma Vibhushan. This is what they look like. Okay, now he just did not retire, he also contributed to India even after he retired. Okay, so he remained a flyer till the end of his tenure in the Indian Air Force, visiting forward bases and units and flying with the squadron. He retired in August 1969. Thereupon, accepting ambassador to Switzerland, he was Lieutenant Governor of Delhi from December 1989 to December 1990. So you see here, till his retirement in 1969, he kept on flying for his flying currency. Remember the word I told you earlier in the video? Flying currency. The government wanted to use his knowledge and experience, so he took up the role of an ambassador to Switzerland, and later he was the lieutenant governor of Delhi from 1989 to 1990. So if you see here, even after he retired, he contributed to the country. Having been a source of inspiration to all the personnel of the armed forces throughout the years, the government confirmed the rank of the Air Marshal of the Air Force upon Arjan Singh in January 2002, making him the first and the only five-star rank officer with the Indian Air Force. Okay, so after a long and important role in the Indian Air Force, the government awarded him the rank of Marshal of the Indian Air Force in 2002. Okay, as we had seen earlier in the video as well, he is still now the first and the only person to have a five-star rank in the Indian Air Force. Okay, now again, this is just general knowledge again. When you see on their chest, you will find these kind of ribbons. Okay, each one means and depicts something else. So you see here the Padma Vibhushan is this one, the pink. Okay, the General Service Medal in 1947, that's the one up here. And the third one over here is the Samar Seva Star. Okay, then again you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the Distinguished Flying Cross is mentioned in our chapter. So this is where the Distinguished Flying Cross will go. Okay, apart from that, he has 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, these are the ones 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so these are all the medals and the decorations that he had received over his tenure with the Indian Air Force. Okay, just this is just a brief of his life story, just for you to do like a small revision. Okay, he was born in the year 1919. He graduated and joined the Indian Air Force in 1939. His first promotion of a flying officer is he got it in the year 1941. In 1942, he became flight lieutenant. In 1945, he became squadron leader, and in 1948, he became wing commander. Okay. Now, if you see here, I've specially put it in a different segment because at that point of time, it was the Royal Air Force. Now, Royal Air Force is where we were even had some British forces allied with British forces. Okay. Now, from 1948 as wing commander, that's when India got its independence. Okay. After that, you see that we completely became the Indian Air Force. So in 1955, he became Air Commodore. In 1960, Air Vice Marshal or AOC in C. Okay. Now, these years, if you see here, he had also been doing this role, a couple of these roles prior to this as well. Okay. But officially, these are the years that he had got his ranks. In 1964, he became Air Marshal, and in 1966, Air Chief Marshal. Okay, after retirement or for the government of India, we saw that what all he had done. Okay, he had become ambassador. Okay, first to Switzerland from 1971 to 74. Then from 74 to 77, he was the High Commissioner of India to Kenya. Then he became the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. In 2002, he became Marshal of the Air Force, and he passed away in the year 2017. Okay, again here down is some important years that were mentioned in your chapter. The Impal War and the Arakan Campaign in 1944. That's also when he received his Distinguished Flying Cross. He went to the RAF College in 1945. He did the fly past of over 100 planes in 1947. Chief of Air Staff from 1964 to 1969, and the India-Pak War in the year 1965. So these are all the details. I hope that you like this video. And please go ahead and subscribe to this channel so you can see more of my videos which will be coming up later.